Part 2 of the NI7's challenge here in August. Kirkistown, we're back racing again after the safety car's been out. Jimmy Dougan now sees his chance. Up the inside into Colonial 1, past Davis Buick there for 10th place. He's down behind John McCandless, one of the A-class runners, but he'd be keen to get past him, try and get up towards the leaders. And in the lead there, Mark Crawford, number 55. And he's in the lead from Richard Morgan in the dark blue Westfield from Ram McGuinness in the low cost, and then in the light blue Westfield, Johnny Armstrong holds fourth. A good turnout today, 15 runners in this first race. There's Jimmy Dougan and Davis Buick away through there, and Colin Reid there at the rear, at the back there, having problems with his car after that big spin, that big moment he had at Deaders. Jimmy Dougan now in behind McCandless. Again, this is not for a place, but it's just to get up through the field, try to catch up with the other runners. That car engine in the Ginetta, it's more aerodynamic shape as well. You can see just on the long straights, just walks away from Jimmy. Of course, Jimmy's a bit quicker around the corners. Look at the distance he's pulled out. Again, down to the hairpin, you can see what Jimmy pulls back on under braking. Again, onto the straight, there's very little between them. Jimmy has a slight advantage, and then the power and the aerodynamics kick in. The Ginetta's away again. Coming around Deaders, back with the leaders. It's Crawford, and McGuinness has got past Ricky Morgan for second. That could have implications in the championship. Crawford and McGuinness, the two leaders at the minute in the championship. Jimmy lines up, and then up the inside. Leaders is Ricky Morgan in third place, Johnny Armstrong, the light blue Westfield in fourth. Ricky has a look up the inside of McGuinness and doesn't quite make it, locks up the tyres. Colin McGoldrick down in fifth. Robin McGrath, Ian Leinster, Andrew Parkinson, Reid Jones. Back down with Jimmy now, he'll be trying to catch up with that group, doing everything he can, try and gain more points for the championship. And Jimmy behind him. Paul Forsyth, who spun earlier on, Larry Mooney has spun as well. Davis Buick and Colin there, who has a sick car. Let's see how slippery it is. Jimmy moving about all over the place. Down into the chicane now, takes plenty of curb. Has to correct a bit there on the exit. Still very late going down into the hairpin. Even in these conditions, with a little bit of water, plenty of oil about on the track. Still very committed. Again, back with the leaders coming through Deaders now. Crawford has a bit of a lead to McGuinness, who's obviously drawn out a wee bit from Ricky Morgan. Jimmy now crosses the start-finish line, goes into Deaders. Fast left-handed. Caught Colin out earlier. See the oil down there. So Crawford in the lead, a few lengths over McGuinness. In turn, there's a bit of space over Ricky Morgan, and then Johnny Armstrong and Brian McGoldrick. The leaders are a bit spaced out. Then it's Robin McGrath, Paul Forsyth, and Andy Parkinson. That group battling for fifth. And Jimmy trying to catch up with that group. In the red MK. So Jimmy really trying to make up the ground up the Robin McGrath's group. You see the heavy clouds have promised rain, but it hasn't quite happened. It's been just enough to make the track slippy, but it hasn't come down hard. You can just see a car there, I think that's Gary Jones up ahead. The leaders still Crawford from McGuinness, from Morgan. Now Crawford seems to be holding that little bit of a lead. That could be vital. Over the start-finish line again. So Crawford from McGuinness, from Morgan. Ricky seems to be catching a little bit up on McGuinness. There's still of gap back to Johnny Armstrong and Bram McGoldrick then in the black and white low cost. Jimmy doing everything he can to try and catch up with the ones in front. You can see Gary Jones up ahead in the yellow Westfield. They're just locking up his brakes. You see Jimmy just gaining on him a little. That's Andrew Parkinson in behind Robin McGrath, and Paul Forsyth has managed to get past Robin. Gary Jones and then Jimmy. There's Davis and Barry then at the rear. Jimmy going down into Fisherman's. It's a double apex right-hander. Just kisses the curb on the way out. Down, breaking into the chicane. Makes plenty of curb on the way in. And the camber just throws him out to the outside of that corner on the way out of that. Down the back street, you know Jimmy's good in the brakes. Back down with Colin now, he's struggling with the car. And you can see he's off at the chicane. You can see how much he's struggling with it. He obviously has some kind of issue there. The engine doesn't seem to be going very well. Jimmy now on the brakes going down into the hairpin. And you can see how much he's taken out of Gary Jones there. Gary getting sideways on the exit. Back up with the leaders. Oh, Ricky Morgan now putting a bit of pressure on him again. It's for second. Crawford still well out of the way in first. Jimmy now lines up Jones. So it's Crawford from McGuinness from Ricky Morgan. Going to Fisherman's but holds off. Jimmy now gaining all the time in Gary Jones. Goldrick there. He's got in front of Johnny Armstrong for fourth. Oh, and Jimmy lines up Gary Jones there, gets him on the brakes on the way into Colonial 1, holds it, and he's got past. And there's Forsyth in front of McGrath, in front of Parkinson, and they'll be Jimmy Dougan's next targets there to try and catch up with. Pushing hard to try and make up valuable places. You can see dust there. Somebody's had a problem. Not sure who that was. There's Colin Reid. Colin really having to fight that car to try and get it around the track, even at such a reduced pace. You can hear the engine doesn't sound 100%. Back up with Jimmy now. His car does. Breaking late again down into the hairpin. Goes straight out to the outside there and takes that outside line on the way around onto the back straight. Now with the leaders, it's Crawford and Ricky Morgan has to go around the outside going into the Colonial. Can't quite hold it. No way through there for Ricky. So it's still Crawford from McGuinness from Ricky Morgan. There can't be many laps left now. Jimmy through deaders. Can't see anyone ahead of him. Oh, there's a car up there. Goldrick leads Johnny Armstrong down into Colonial. There's Andrew Parkinson. Behind McGrath, and there's Jimmy Dougan. So the car up ahead was Parkinson. Can Jimmy take Andy Parkinson's MK now? There's Davis Buick, another red MK. And he's in behind Barry McBride and Larry Mawhinney. They're having their own battle. Jimmy now through Colonial 1. There's Colonial 2. You can see Parkinson now. He's trying to reel him in. Running out of laps though. Oh, and Andy's gone very, very wide in the first part of Fisherman's. Oh, and you can see how much effort Colin's having to put in to try and coax that car around the track, hoping to pick up a point somewhere. Again, going down into the chicane, you can see Jimmy really closing up on Andy Parkinson there. Oh, and he's passed him. I think Andy maybe missed a gear or something coming out of that corner. Oh, and Colin having to do so much work to try and keep that car on the track. I believe that's Jimmy up to 8th place now. All the points valuable in the standings in the championship table. It's very late going down there. And these are the leaders now. And they've crossed the finish line. That's the end of the race. Mark Crawford's won. Ryan McGuinness has got 2nd. Ricky Morgan 3rd. And could that 8th place be vital for Jimmy? He takes a checkered flag. Very unfortunate to have to go off. There's Mark Crawford from Ryan, from Ricky. Brian McGoldrick gets 4th. Johnny Armstrong 5th. Ian Leinster 6th. And really Jimmy very unlucky there. 7th place in the end. Very unlucky, he had to spin off avoiding there Paul Forsyth down at Fisherman's. Made it back on though, and fought well.